president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild accuses the office of Mayor Katie Wilson of trying to violate the union's right to free speech.
Looked at the content of the email. I thought, well, that sounds like a threat.
Surveillance video shows the moment a shooting broke out along Aurora Avenue early Saturday morning. Bullets hitting cars and flying into their homes have become an almost nightly occurrence.
We could have lost our son.
We're back talking about the Seattle mayor. Now, this is becoming a problem, a big problem. Because not just the crime that's been tearing through her city, but she's in hot water because the police union had the audacity to post about it. And she had a problem with that. In fact, tried to tell them to take it down. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. What else is new when we talk about Mayor Katie Wilson? Let's get into it.
It featured a video of 3 people being shot outside a busy nightclub with the caption, "Mayor Katie, how many more examples do you need? Don't take away the vital tools officers rely on to identify, locate, and apprehend violent criminals in our city."
So let's set the scene. There was a triple shooting outside a nightclub on Capitol Hill. It was on camera, it's in the news.
Police say a security guard tried to break it up. A short time later, 9 shots, one after another. One of the men involved in the fight was hit, as were 2 other men in their 20s on the sidewalk, police describing them as innocent bystanders. Police say the 3 suspects got away.
And the Seattle Police Officers Guild, that's the union, takes that publicly broadcast video, posts it, and then asks Mayor Katie Wilson one question: how many more examples do you need? So here's the context. Wilson had already paused the expansion on the city's real-time crime center camera network. 65 plus cameras that the Seattle Police Department own data said triple the odds of making arrests. Let me repeat that again. There's 60 plus cameras that Seattle's own data, police department's own data, saying that it will triple the odds of making an arrest. She paused it, pending an audit in a city with the staffing crisis during an uptick in violent crime. So the union posted a video from the news and said, "Don't take away our tools." That's the post, that's it. No classified information, no leaked footage. It wasn't disrespectful. It was a news clip with a caption that basically says, "Mayor, look at what's happening out here. We need help." And that question, how many more examples do you need, is about to become very ironic, because instead of answering it, her office decided to do something that turned a union social media post into a national story.
The next morning, this email was sent by the mayor's staff to SPOG President Kent Liu, saying the post, quote, appears to violate SPD policy regarding real-time crime center cameras and Seattle Municipal Code that bars recorded information from being used for political purposes, with the instruction, please pull the post immediately. When this line here says, please pull the post immediately, how did you interpret that?
Oh, that's an order.
5 words. 5 words that blew this whole thing up. The morning after they put this post up, a woman by the name of Allison Holcomb, she's the Mayor Executive Operations Manager for Public Safety. So she's not some intern. This is a very senior official. She fires off an email to the union president. And in that email, she accuses the union of violating Seattle Police Department's policy on the real crime center footage and a city law prohibiting police recordings from being used for political purposes. There's one problem. One very large problem. The video didn't come from the police cameras. It didn't come from the real-time crime center. It came from the Como News reporter's X account. It was a news clip, publicly available. Anyone who had a TV or anyone with a cell phone, with a link attached. The mayor's office cited 2 laws. Neither one of them applied. And when the union told where the video actually came from and sent them the public link to prove it, the mayor's office had to walk it back.
As for the mayor's office side of all of this, they say they have now retracted their request for SPOG to delete that post. They say they look forward.
But here's what I need you guys to understand. The retraction doesn't erase the threat. The disciplinary action was already implied. The threat was already sent. And we're going to talk about that and what that means in a second. But before we keep going, because this story is far from over, I want to make sure that people watching this are protected when it actually counts, and that's your Medicare coverage. If you or someone you love is on Medicare or turning 65, you need to talk to Chapter for Medicare. There are licensed advisors that actually take the time to walk through your options. They make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table. It costs nothing for you to talk to them. Give them a call at 570-906-0818. That number again is 570-906-0818. Now, let's get back to Seattle.
I looked at the content of the email. I thought, well, that sounds like a threat.
But SPOG President Kent Liu says the mayor's office was wrong about where the video came from.
The video was publicly sourced from Como 4.
So Kent is the president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. He got that email telling him to pull that post immediately. He didn't call his PR team. He called his lawyers, because that's exactly what the email was. It was a threat, dressed up in policy language, but it was a threat. But here's what it makes it even more egregious. The mayor's office, even when they found out that video came from a public news source, didn't fully back down. They pivoted. They said that the way the post was written implied that the video came from the police cameras. So now it's not about where the video actually came from, it's how it looked. That's not a legal argument. That's like a feels, vibes argument. Well, that looked like that came from a police surveillance video. Either it came from Seattle's police cameras or it didn't. You don't get to threaten someone's job based on how a post made you feel. The union responded with a cease and desist. The attorneys called it, and I'm quoting here, a flagrantly unconstitutional action in the violation of the 1st and 14th, and they made it very clear. The retraction is legally irrelevant. Once you make a threat, it's made. This is what happens when the administration is more focused on managing its image than managing its city.
As members.
After this whole back and forth with the mayor's office, are you still going to be critical of her on this issue?
Absolutely. We're not changing our tone, our rhetoric. We're not going to be threatened or intimidated.
That right there is the only correct response to what the mayor's office did. You don't back down. You don't soften the message. You sent a cease and desist letter, and then you keep posting. And here's why this moment matters beyond Seattle. The mayor's office tried to use the machinery of the government, the Seattle Police Department policy, city laws, and the threat of disciplinary action to silence a labor union that was doing nothing more than pointing out a publicly broadcast video and saying, this is a problem. That is a serious abuse of power. No gray area, no misunderstanding, and abuse. And the underlying issue that started all this is crime. There's a staffing crisis, a decision to pause a camera system that helps the police department get more arrests. Again, makes officers 3 times more likely to make an arrest. That's the conversation that Katie Wilson doesn't want to have. So instead of having that conversation, her office tried to make that post disappear. Kent Liu's message to the mayor is simple. We're going to keep talking about this. And now, because how this was handled, so is everyone else. Katie Wilson handed that union a megaphone by trying to take it away.
He works for the property owner and says they spent the weekend patching up bullet holes in the side of the building.
The heck are these guys, you know? Think they can just shoot up the neighborhood? It's insane. It's unacceptable and it's wrong, and the mayor needs to step up to the plate.
Those who live near Aurora Avenue agree.
We have the gun violence that is coming along with it.
Neighbors say the shootings, bullets hitting cars and flying into their homes, have become an almost nightly occurrence.
We could have lost our son. Thank God he's all right.
And this is where I want all of you to zoom out for a second, because while the mayor's office is drafting emails about a social media post, people here are worried. They're patching bullet holes in the side of their buildings. 40 shell casings at one scene. Nightly prostitution, bullets flying into homes, a family that's saying that they could have lost their son. And when they reached out to the mayor's office, the city council, or even the Seattle police, their words, they got a lot of nothing. They sent 2 emails demanding the city declare an emergency on this area. They threatened legal action. They put up their own street barriers because no one else would. And the mayor's office response, a statement saying that the police have increased patrols. A community meeting, while your neighbors are dodging bullets. This is the real story beneath the social media drama. It's not just about Katie Wilson's office trying to silence a union. It's about why they wanted silence. Because that post is pointing directly at this. What's going on Aurora Avenue, at Capitol Hill, at a city where residents are on their own and administration priorities seem to be controlling the narrative instead of controlling the crime. Here's the pattern, because Seattle is not unique. We've covered the Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott doing the same thing from a different angle, fighting his own inspector general in court, trying to block audits, refusing transparency when his administration spending comes under scrutiny. Different city, different method with the same instinct. When accountability shows up, they don't address it. Katie Wilson tried to bury this tweet. Brandon Scott tried to bury an inspector general. The tool is different, but the reflex is identical. These are administrations that have confused managing the story with doing the job. And what always happens? The story just gets bigger. The union that posted that news clip now has a cease and desist on file in national coverage. The inspector general that Brandon Scott fought is still standing. You cannot suppress your way out of a public safety crisis. At some point, the receipts are going to catch up. Seattle deserves better better than a mayor whose office is more concerned about social media than the 40 shell casings on that avenue and the residents who have to put their own street barriers up. They already know what's going on. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Appreciate all of your support. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.